own daughter. When Sammy first called me with her idea, I thought it was a great one. I hope, as you read between the lines, you think so too. To Emma, who will always be the hero in my story, love, Sammy. To Tim, because sometimes fairy tales do come true, love, Jodi.
And now, Between the Lines.
The beginning. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a brave king and a beautiful queen who were so much in love that wherever they went, people stopped what they were doing just to watch them pass. Peasant wives who were fighting with their husbands suddenly forgot the reason for the argument. Little boys who'd been putting spiders in the braids of little girls tried to steal a kiss instead. Artists wept because nothing they could create on canvas came close to approximating the purity of the love between King Maurice and Queen Maureen. On the day they learned that they were going to have a child, it is said that a rainbow brighter and grander than anything ever seen before arched across the kingdom as if the sky itself was waving a banner of joy. But not everyone was happy for the king and queen. In a cave at the far edge of the kingdom lived a man who had sworn off love. When you've been burned by fire once, you don't leap into the flames again. Once upon a time, Rapscalio had expected to be living his own fairy tale, with his own happy ending, with a girl who had looked past his scarred face and gnarled limbs and had shown kindness to him when the rest of the world didn't. In his mind, he replayed the day he'd been shoved roughly into the mud by schoolmates, only to find the most slender white hand reaching out to help him up. How he had grabbed onto her, this angel, imagining her as his lifeline. He'd spent days composing poetry in her honor and painting portraits that never did her beauty justice, waiting for just the right moment to confess his love, only to find her in the arms of a man he could never be, someone tall, strong, and destined for greatness. Rapscalio had then grown darker and more twisted by his own hate every day. His portraits of his beloved had given way to intricate plans for revenge against the man who had single-handedly ruined his life, King Maurice. One night, a roar rose from outside the gates of the kingdom, unlike any other sound heard before. The ground shook, and a streak of fire shot through the sky, burning the thatched roofs of the village. King Maurice and Queen Maureen ran out of the castle to see a monstrous black beast with scaled wings the size of a ship's sails, its eyes as red as embers. It stormed through the night sky, hissing sulphurous breath and spitting flames. Rapscalio had painted a dragon onto a magical canvas, and the demon had come to life. The king looked at the panicked faces of his subjects and turned to his wife, but she had fallen to her knees in pain. "The baby," she whispered. "It's coming." Torn between love and duty, the king knew what he had to do. He kissed his beloved wife where she lay in bed with her maids attending her, and promised to be back in time to meet his son. Then, with 100 knights armored in glinting silver, he raised his sword high and rode out across the castle drawbridge on a wave of bravery and passion. But it is no easy feat to best a dragon. As he watched his loyal soldiers being torn from their mounts and flung to their deaths by the fiery beast, King Maurice knew that he had to take matters into his own hands. He grabbed the sword of a fallen knight in his left hand, and holding his own sword in his right, stepped forward to challenge the dragon. As the night grew deeper and the battle raged outside the castle walls, the queen struggled to bring her son into the